because, I mean, maybe this is a terrible idea. Y'all, it is sunny for the second day in a row. I know. It hasn't done that here in the UK in far too long, and I am really enjoying having it be nice out. I'm hoping that this means it's the start of spring. But I was having a look at my plants and thinking about what sort of things I wanted to get done before spring actually rolls around, if there's anything else I want to rehab or just try something new on, and this was one of the main ones that came to mind. This here is my Monstera Albo Borsigiana, so it is a small form, and I have not been enjoying the way it has been looking for quite a long time now, and I figure it's time to do a bit of a big reset with it, and I thought it'd be more fun to do it together. I am not positive. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing with it yet. I am probably going to be giving it quite a big chop. That's the main thing. I have my scissors here. They're ready to chop up this plant, but I'm tempted to take it off of the moss pole entirely and kind of just start over with it, because I don't like how it looks like this, and so starting over with it isn't the worst thing. So that is the plan for today. We can figure things out together, try stuff out, and see if we can get this into a better spot for the start of the growing season. But if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate it. I'd also really appreciate if you wanted to get notified for when my videos show up so you can like know right away and go watch them right away. Click the little bell icon down below. I think it's next to the subscribe button, and you can be notified when I post new videos. Right, let's figure out what the heck to do with this thing. I feel like the first step on this one, I feel like I just want to take it off of the moss pole entirely. That makes the most sense to me, because I don't, like, I know it's attached in here, but I think I would just generally prefer to have it be bushier, because it's obviously not, it's not looking great on this pole. So let's give this a massive chop, and actually I'll probably have to cut it out of the moss pole because it is rooted into there. Like this bit, I know it's got a clip on it, but like that's stuck in there. That's not going anywhere. So I think I'll probably have to cut it out of the pole, which is totally fine. I can do that. The direction I think I want to go with this one is I think I'm gonna cut it up for parts, which sounds kind of crazy. I'm not, I don't tend to do this very often. I don't tend to like reset things to nothing. And like, in theory, this is it's a healthy plant. Like, it's still growing. It's just not growing sort of the way that I want it to grow. And that's why I want to change it up, because I don't know, I just don't know if I've ever had the right sort of situation for the Monstera Albo, especially the Borsigiana, because it is the small form, and like the internodal space is just so long. It gets tall without actually getting any bigger, and like that's just a shame. But I figured I would do a sort of single plant rehabby video, because I feel like I'm probably not the only one who has plants that they're not like 100% on, and I kind of want to just like talk it through with you and figure it out together. What would be the best bet for this one? Okay. So, oh my goodness, it is hella rooted down in there. I definitely want to be keeping that if I possibly can. The roots are very happy, and so I don't want to lose any of those. But I think my best bet is to try and take off as much of the moss from this pole as possible. And I've actually got like an empty Soil Ninja bag here from some semi-hydro that I finished up, and I'm just gonna chuck it in there for now because this is perfectly good moss. It can be used just fine. Also, I did dampen this moss yesterday. I brought this whole thing into the shower and gave it a really good shower down just to make sure that it was nice and moist, because that's gonna make such a difference when trying to get the moss off. Dry moss is so much more difficult to work with than damp moss. So let's just see where this gets us. I have a feeling I've kind of just essentially used this moss pole as a giant air layering thing for the past couple years. And if all of these cuttings are, or if all of the different nodes are rooted, then I could potentially just make a massive pot of like single cuttings. I don't know if that would be weird though. I might just give it a go, you know, just because why not? Okay, I'm going to be taking my first set of cuttings, and I'm literally just gonna go with pretty much every single node because they all have like these aerial roots on them, so I don't see why that wouldn't work. I just don't even know, like, this sounds bad. I don't even know if I even feel like I need this plant in my collection anymore, which is weird because this, like, the Monstera Albo was the it plant for so long, especially like around 2020 time. Like, this was the plant to have, which is absolutely crazy that I'm now just like, I don't know if I care about it. That being said, I don't have a normal Monstera Deliciosa either at the minute, because I'm kind of not saving up for a large form, but I would love to get a large form if and when I ever have more space, just because I don't really have the space for one in this flat. It's just a little bit too small, so we'll see whether or not that ends up happening. It is hella rooted. That is something that I cannot complain about. It is extremely rooted in here. It's awesome how rooted it is. Okay, cool. Like, look at that. It's just huge roots all throughout. Like, this could just go straight into soil and be fine, and it's already starting to like branch out and stuff. Okay, and now I can take this top pole off for now. Okay. this cutting had roots all the way down to the soil. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So the poles are entirely out at this point, and I am just left with, I mean, several like, do I even, I think the question is, like, do I want to just pop all of these into the same pot and do like a giant pot of like single cuttings, single node cuttings, rooted single node cuttings? I feel like I would prefer it. Also, you can see how many leaves I've just like lost in there. Gosh, I've gone scissor happy here. I don't think in a bad way. Okay, so I've just had a massive think about how the heck I want to do this, and I kind of have two options. So option number one is I make two plants, and I kind of keep one that's the bottom, and then maybe some mid cuts, and then one that's more top cuts, neither of which I think I will put on moss poles. Or I go one big pot and just make it bushy as heck. I'm kind of tempted because I don't particularly want to have two separate plants of something that I'm not like 100% on anyways. So I feel like I'm gonna pot them all of these cuttings into this pot. This feels very weird and like not incorrect, but like this is not something I normally do. I tend to not like restart my plants all that often. I tend to be more of someone who just kind of just go this way. Yeah, I tend to just sort of like leave things just because if they're doing fine, why mess with it? But this one's obviously not doing fine enough for me to be like leaving it, if that makes sense. Let me take that. And I can just go in here with every single one of these cuttings and really, let me get the ones with the huge massive roots. Just like, and really just go for it. Because why the heck not have like a giant pot of about 1 billion Monstera cuttings? I mean, maybe this is a terrible idea. I mean, the only thing I could see going wrong with this, it's not even wrong. It's like the only thing I could think of is that it would be like, it's gonna grow. Which, like, good, I hope it grows. I hope it grows better than it did before because it was not growing well before. And so if it does grow, that's actually great. But if it starts growing from every single one of these growth points, it's gonna be a lot, and it probably won't, it'll need an upsize, basically, is kind of what I'm thinking. But, I mean, I guess that's a good problem to have. I'd rather it do well. And like, I kind of said this in my plant tour, which if you haven't gone and watched it, I highly recommend you go and watch it, because I talk about basically every single one of my houseplants outside of the like cabinets and stuff, which will come eventually down the line. But I talk about how my Manjula pothos is kind of giving me similar vibes to my Monstera Albo, because my Albo hasn't split. It doesn't have those like lovely leaves that you would want out of an Albo, that are variegated and fenestrated and all that. And so it doesn't look that different to my Manjula pothos. And so if I have that one growing up a pole, do I really need this one to grow up a pole too? Or can I just have this one be like sort of more weird bushy thing that I've somehow decided is a better idea? I don't know. I guess like there's no harm in trying it, you know? That's part of the fun of being a plant person, is like I can just try things. And I think that's something that I forget. I forget that I can just do whatever I want. And I don't have to do things that are like perfect all the time. Even though I do sometimes feel like I need to do that because of it being my job. But like things don't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to look 100%. It can look weird. It can look weird and dumb. Like this pot kind of looks weird and dumb. But at the same time, it might be what my plant needs to be weird and dumb in order to thrive. And like I can always go in, let me put that there. I can always go in like a few months time when these cuttings are starting to like put out new growth. I can always just repot it again. It doesn't matter. I feel like I think too much about things, and I like get too in my head about things and trying to be perfect. But you don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be perfect. No one's gonna be perfect. But like sometimes you feel like you need to. And like I basically just sat on the floor for 20 minutes in between doing different bits here, and was like, what am I doing? This is gonna look so ugly. It's gonna be weird and it's not gonna work. Like, what's the point? That is not a good mindset to be in. I don't wanna doubt myself and get worried about it looking stupid, because it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. And I feel like that's something that a lot of us need to hear. It doesn't matter. And like, of course we all want perfect plants all the time, but not every plant is going to be perfect. Plants in themselves aren't perfect. Humans aren't perfect. No one is perfect. Am I just going on a massive rant because I'm trying to make myself feel better about it? Probably. But is it working? Yeah. I am like, I don't need to worry. Like, it's just gonna, this is gonna look so weird and probably dumb and so unlike how I would expect a Monstera to be portrayed on the internet. But I don't care. And I feel like that's a good place to be. My plants don't need to look like anyone else's plants. And like, just believing that is such a freaking relief. Because it doesn't matter. Is that weird? This is maybe not the video for everybody. Maybe some people here just want plants to look perfect and for me to do the perfect things all the time, but I don't think that's reasonable. And like, I feel like it's not the worst thing to like kind of show this sort of reality where I am choosing to do something that's sort of against the norm, that looks weird and might not be perfect, and that's okay. That is okay. I think the main thing on this one though is I'm gonna need to keep it quite moist for a little while, because there are some cuttings in here that haven't rooted yet, or like haven't, they just had aerial roots. They didn't have sort of proper nice roots yet. And so if I want those to grow, I'm probably gonna need to keep it a little bit more moist for a little while, but I can do that. I need to go get some more soil, so give me 1 sec. Okay, I only have this tiny little 2.5 liter bag left of Monstera and philodendron soil. And I probably could put anthurium and orchid soil in here and it wouldn't matter. But if I have the thing for the job, I may as well use that. Oh my gosh. This looks so silly. This looks really silly. I think this looks so weird, but I'm thinking it'll probably kind of sort itself out a little bit in time. Like it'll start shifting all of its leaves in one direction when I've like popped it into a spot. Let me just cut off all these sort of dry bits. But like when I've popped it into a spot, it'll start facing probably all the same direction, and I think that might look a little bit better. Oh, hi, baby. Cleo, do you think this looks dumb? Cleo doesn't care. That's fine. Okay. This is the weirdest pot of Monstera I think I have ever seen. Ever. But I don't care. I think it's quite, like, it's quite silly. And eventually, like I said, it'll hopefully start, like, pointing all in one direction towards the light in the area. But yeah, I've just restarted this one, and we will see where the heck it goes, whether or not it works. And it very well might not. But I think I just need to be not afraid of it not working, because in the end, it doesn't really matter. And at this point in like the Monstera Albo world, I can get a Monstera Albo for like nearly nothing. Not nothing, but like I could get one. I mean, I'm pretty sure actually Claire could probably give me a cutting for nothing, or like a swap or something. So I feel like I'm not too worried about it. And if it works out, it works out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's okay. I feel like that's where my head needs to be at. Otherwise I'm gonna spiral and get stressed that I've done something really stupid. I wonder, got one of these octopusy things, and I'm just gonna poke her into the middle, and then I can kind of encourage the leaves into it to like kind of hold them upwards. Okay, that looks so much better. like that, it just like kind of holds the leaves up a little bit more. And like you can't even really see it from the top. So I feel like that is just a bit better, and it makes it look a little bit bushier and less sort of sprawled out. Yeah, I'm actually feeling okay with that. It feels very weird to be okay with it, but I think I just need to relax a little bit and it'll be fine. And maybe in like a couple months time, I can come back with an update on like how it's doing, how where it goes basically, because I actually have no idea if this is gonna work out or not. And maybe that's just something you gotta do every now and then. Try something that might not work, because life's more fun when you try things out. So there we go. That was my sort of chaotic repot. Not really sure if it was everybody's cup of tea, but we're here now. I really appreciate it. If you've gotten this far and you've watched this video, thank you so much. I also want to say a huge thank you to the newest member of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon, Deborah. Thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it. If anyone else is interested in joining my Patreon, you might get some more slightly unhinged repots like this occasionally, as well as like general bonus content and access to the Discord server and live chats and just like generally a good planty time. It's there if you want it. The link is in the description. Absolutely no pressure. It is only £3 a month. You can think of that as like buying me a coffee, running one of my grow lights for a month, sort of anything really. But yeah, we get to hang out if you join. So there if you want it. Otherwise, don't worry. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. If you want updates on this plant, put a green heart down below in the comments so I can know that that's something that you would like to see, and subscribe for more. But yeah, I hope you're having a fantastic day and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!